I turn on the camera and the sirens begin. Hello, hello, hello. Or should I say, hi guys? Do you remember the last video? The last video I pretended to be interested in you. Do you remember that? Do you remember when I was concerned and terribly sincere? Utterly sincere, as I talked about the first album I bought. Or was it the second? I can't remember. But I said to you, leave a comment. You know, I did that YouTube thing where you leave a comment in the box below telling me what you bought first. Yeah, because like I'm a proper YouTuber, do it properly. So anyway, we have replies, and so therefore, why don't we make a video together? We've kind of created almost like a YouTube community, the fabled YouTube community. Who remembers that thing? Whereas I ask a question, just moving my microphones. I ask a question and you reply, and then I get more content out of it. It's like, this is genius. Why didn't I think of this before? So no, the first person to reply, who was quick off the mark, was Werner Kurt. And he replies, Darren, I did not expect such an original choice for a first album. But, Russ Abbott, it was massive. You know, a great TV show. I like comedy songs. That's why I'm a big fan of bonsos and things like that. He says, as a viewer and a subscriber, my first album bought was Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark Organisation album, released in 1980. A very important album that opened up my eyes to British synth pop. There you go. And he said, net discovery led me to an unstoppable interest towards British pop and rock music. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Well, there you go. Screen Spirit, he has a memory of Freddy Starr's Madhouse, which was even earlier, and on which Russ Abbott was a supporting character. I think Freddy must have peed someone off as he was given the elbow, and Russ graduated to the starring role. Yeah, I remember that too. I just don't think Freddy Starr was the right fit. Again, also he was a bit of a controversial character outside of TV land. And so I think ITV probably wanted somebody a bit more family friendly. Freddy Starr could be again, this is only for the Brits. Freddy Starr could be family friendly, and then suddenly, just think of him on any of the appearances on the Des O'Connor show. But those were because those didn't Freddy Starr, one of his routines where he'd come on dressed in Nazi uniform with a little moustache and do a funny skit. Again, he was taking the mickey out of the Nazis, but people today wouldn't get it because they have no sense of nuance. They're just everything's literal for them. Those bloody millennials. He said, my first album purchase is a bit embarrassing. It's the soundtrack to the Grease movie. Please don't tell anyone. Well, wait there. This is my old cassette box. Don't worry. There's nothing in it. It's mainly old cassettes. Not of anything interesting. But if I open it, if I can open it. Here we go. What do I pull from the cassette box? Look at that. Who'd have thunk it? See, it's an original RKO copy of the Grease soundtrack. It's kind of, I don't know, my mum bought it because she really liked it and we used to play it a lot back in the day. It's not mine, but it was played a lot again because Grease was massive. It was an absolutely massive film and soundtrack album. Again, it was one of the first real big soundtrack albums to make an impact on the charts. So there's no shame in that, Screen Spirit. There's no shame in that. And I've gone and told everyone. So sorry. Artuzakis says the first album I bought was The Endless River back in 2014 by that indie band. Well, I can only commiserate with you. It's a bit of a poor show. Lenin says that Pink Floyd isn't indie, and I actually correct him and say, well, they are now because they own their own record label, so they are independent. Celestial Elixir says, I would tell you mine, except I can't remember. All right, It's Love Beach by that there ELP, and that's just between us though. Well, again, I've gone and spoiled it by revealing the whole thing to everyone by making this video. Lennon, he says, my first album I bought was Led Zeppelin IV on CD. It was very much worth it, especially for Stairway to Heaven. No Stairway. Tom Garb goes, I should Coco. There's no need to be rude. No need to be rude, dear. Of course, he's talking about Supergrass's debut album, which is a fine record and one that I enjoyed back in the day. Run Scoot says Regatta de Blanc by The Police. Interesting choice, but again, The Police were absolutely massive back in the day. Norman says, I can't recall the first album. Okay. But I vividly recall the first 45 I bought. I was 10 years old. It was 1974 and David Bowie's famed Golden Years. Played it in my 4th grade class at lunch. Mr. Forsyth, good game. Was a little concerned at first, but decided it was all right when he saw we didn't have a clue what booty for you, shooty for me meant. Thanks for the memory. Indeed, we've all got the memories. Robert Edge says, well, it's close to the edge for me as it's got my surname in it. Okay. 40 Cog says, utterly unnecessary YouTube comment. Oh, yes, absolutely. I seem to recall mine was the Jaws soundtrack album back when the movie had just been released. There you go, Mr. Locke. Pretend to find that interesting. Well, I do, actually, because one of my first memories of Jaws was seeing people queue around the block for it because it was the very first summer blockbuster. And I remember it was when my dad was still around before he left for that whore. And we were driving past the cinema in it was nearly opposite the old Leighton swimming baths. They turned the cinema into a quick save, and then I think a B&Q. That's totally irrelevant. But yeah, I remember the people just queuing outside. My dad said, oh, maybe we should go and see that. Because I think you could actually go. I think little kids, I was only, how old would I have been, 5 or 6? I think I could have got in. Big coat, and a moustache. But he got me into all sorts of films. I think he took me to The Wild Geese, which is I don't think I was old enough to see that. But I don't know how he got me in. He was very good like that. Bjorn says, thanks for that YouTube comment. I hate phony YouTubers. Me? I'm as sincere as the next YouTuber. I won't bother posting my first album because I know you don't care. And that's why I follow you. Hell, I don't even care what my first album was. Bjorn, you kind of missed the point of the video. I was trying to get content, but inadvertently you've given me content. So it kind of works. I'm not gonna complain too much. Dave Smith says, the first album I ever got was by Dave D. Dozy Bick. I knew I was going to fudge that up. I'm going to take another run at it. Oh boy. Because I can say Dave D. Dozy Bicky Mick and Titch. He missed the Beaky. He missed the Dozy Beaky. I'm sure, wasn't there Beaky in it? I don't know. Anyway, the first album Dave Smith bought was by Dave D, Dozy, Mick and Titch, which I haven't got. The first proper one for me was The Nice by The Nice, which I still have. I did see a recording of Russ Abbott show back in the day at the BBC at Shepherd's Bush, and it was most excellent. Yeah, I went there. I went to the BBC, but it was at White City. You're thinking of Shepherd's Bush Green, which is the Shepherd's Bush Empire now, because it used to be the Shepherd's Bush Theatre, I believe. Or maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Hans says, one of Credence's albums. Well, that's specific, isn't it? Peter says, I think it was Duran Duran Arena on cassette. Wasn't that that's their live album, I believe. Meanwhile, Lou Pasternak says, bro, bit familiar. My first cassette purchase was Shine On Brightly. Can't really remember the first LP. I was buying 45s back in the day. Still have some of them. I've never been one for like 45s. Bought CD singles and stuff. Shane says Ice House by Flowers or Flowers by Ice House, depending on the time. Ice House, Guy Pratt, Pink Floyd. Everything's connected. There we go. Meanwhile, Garrett chips in with, if I remember correctly, the first album was Pink Floyd's Medal. specifically the '94 Capitol CD. Got it at Best Buy shortly before the Discovery Box came out, and he was only about 4 or 5 years old at the time. Norman says, first album I bought was the Rubettes' Greatest Hits. Yeah, no, probably best not brag about that. And Northern Light Show adds, we forget Russ Abbott was huge in the UK in the early 80s. See you, Jimmy. Indeed, see you. Again, it was a Saturday night TV show, and I think it would have probably brought in about 18 million viewers back then, because it wasn't uncommon for shows to bring in, many viewers. And nowadays, they can't do it, can they? Because people have other things to do. But anyway, we only had 3 channels back then. Yeah, 3 channels. Anyway, thanks for watching. Wasn't that a lot of fun? Maybe I'll ask you a question in the next video. Doubtful. I can't sustain this YouTuber persona for much longer. Anyway, thanks for watching. My name's been Darren. We've been talking about comments and what was your first album purchase. See, in all of you, there have been quite a few views. It's been very popular. We must have at least 100 views on that video. What's the point of having subscribers? What's the point when the subs don't match the views? There's no point. You didn't take part. It's a bit sad. Everyone else took part. They took time to answer, but you people, the rest of you, didn't take part. Shame on you. Shame on you for not being in the spirit of YouTube. And on that, we'll end it there. Thank you for watching. There's only one more thing left to say, and by now we all know what that is, and that is ta-ra.